Right now, someone is using your fairness against you. You gave them the benefit of the doubt, again, and they took it, like they always do. Every time you tried to be reasonable, you lost ground. Every time you stayed calm, they escalated. You thought being fair would earn you respect. Instead, it earned you a target painted on your back. Fairness is not a virtue in the arena of power. It is a leash. And you handed them the handle. You were raised to believe that playing fair would be rewarded, that the honest man wins in the end, that waiting your turn meant your turn would come. They lied to you. The system was never designed for the fair. It was designed by people who never intended to play fair themselves. And somewhere deep down, you already know this. You know the rules are different for different people. You know that being too decent has cost you repeatedly. You have been told your hesitation is wisdom. It is not. Your hesitation is a door left open for someone else to walk through. Every compromise you made thinking it was noble cost you. Every time you made space for others, they filled it and kept going. Fairness is a luxury that power does not respect. The people at the top are not playing the same game as you. They are not even on the same board. And nobody told you. That silence was intentional. You were kept comfortable enough to stay, and confused enough not to fight. But something in you is waking up right now. Something that's been waiting for someone to say what I'm about to say. Stay with me, because what comes next will change how you see everything. The game has been played on you long enough. You have spent years wondering what is wrong with you. Why you keep trying and keep getting passed over. Why people who work less seem to get more. Why saying nothing got you nothing and speaking up cost you everything. You blamed yourself for being too sensitive, too idealistic, too much, or not enough, not smart enough, not aggressive enough, not connected. Stop. I need you to hear this clearly. There is nothing wrong with you. The system identified your fairness and built a mechanism around it. Your empathy is an asset to the people mining it. Your patience is a resource systematically depleted. Your loyalty is a chain kept tight by people who feel no loyalty in return. This is not a coincidence. This is architecture. The people who benefit from your compliance designed it that way. They taught you to see your own boundaries as selfishness. They taught you that protecting your interests was greed. They taught you that your discomfort was your fault for not adapting. Every lesson was designed to make you smaller and easier to manage, not to help you win, to help them keep winning. Your pain is real, but its source is not your weakness. Its source is a machinery built around your strength. The world did not break you. It just never showed you the whole picture. You were only ever given the part of the map that kept you contained. That ends now, because someone is about to give you the rest of it. His name was Niccolo Machiavelli, and he saw all of this coming. 500 years ago, in a world even more brutal than this one, he wrote what no one dared say. He named what everyone was doing, and they punished him for it, which tells you everything about whether it was true. They called him evil. They called his work dangerous. They were right. It was dangerous. To them, what he left behind is one of the most powerful maps for navigating human nature ever written. And today, you are going to learn what he actually said. Not the sanitized version. The real one. The one that got him imprisoned. And changed history. Not as a weapon to harm others. As armor. To stop being destroyed yourself. This knowledge is for protection, not destruction. Machiavelli did not invent cruelty. He described it for people like you, so that when it comes for you, you recognize it, and you are ready. The question is not whether these forces exist. They do. The question is whether you're equipped. Let's equip you. Starting now. Drop this in the comments. I see the trap now. 6 lessons. Directly from the cold, strategic mind of Machiavelli. 6 truths that will change how you operate in rooms with other people forever. Pay attention. You will not hear this in school. You were not meant to. Are you ready? Let's begin. Niccolo Machiavelli. Born Florence, 1469. Died in disgrace. Studied forever. He served Florence as a diplomat and civil servant for 14 years. He watched princes, popes, and warlords rise and fall. He catalogued every move, every betrayal, every mechanism of control. And then the regime changed, and they came for him. They tortured him, trying to break him into recanting what he knew. He would not break, because what he knew was not opinion. It was observation. They eventually released him, but destroyed his career, exiled him to his small farm, and it was there, in forced exile, that he wrote The Prince, the most controversial political document in human history. It was banned by the Catholic Church, kept secret by kings who followed it privately. Napoleon kept a copy annotated in his own hand. Every powerful person in history has read it, and most of them kept quiet about it, because knowledge of how power works has always been a class secret, and Machiavelli made the unforgivable decision to share it. Here is what he actually said. Remember it. Write it down. Lie by it. Machiavelli wrote, "It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both." He was not advocating cruelty. He was describing gravity. He was saying, the world will take from you unless you give it a reason not to. The person who loves you will test the limits of that love. The person who respects you will not. That is not cynicism. That is physics. And understanding it is not evil. It is survival. The lion fights the wolves. The fox avoids the traps. Machiavelli said you need to be both. The lion alone gets trapped. The fox alone gets devoured. But together, they are ungovernable. That is who Machiavelli was trying to build. Now let's build you. 6 lessons, drawn from 500 years of political warfare. 6 weapons for people who were never supposed to have them. Take them all. Lesson 1. The trap of reciprocity. Fairness assumes the other person is playing the same game as you. You have been in rooms where you gave everything honestly, and they used your honesty against you. You admitted weakness. They filed it away for later. You asked for understanding. They interpreted it as an opening. Why does this happen? Because fairness is a norm. Norms are only binding on people who believe in them. The socially conditioned and the strategically unconditioned are not equal participants. The person with no shame will always outmaneuver the person with too much. Machiavelli understood. Your ethics are your own. Do not project them onto others. What you can do starting today: stop announcing your moves. Stop explaining your reasoning before you act. Act, then explain if necessary. The chess master does not tell you what they see. They simply move. Silence is not deception. Silence is sovereignty. Drop this in the comments. Silence is MY's strategy. You are not obligated to make yourself predictable for other people's comfort. Your unpredictability is a form of protection. Lesson 2. The performance of virtue. Machiavelli did not say be cool. He said understand how virtue is used against you. Have you ever been in a situation where someone used your own decency as a weapon against you? Where your honesty was called naivety, your trust called stupidity, where doing the right thing made you the easy target? Here is the psychology. Virtue signals trust. Trust disables threat assessment. Once you trust someone, you stop watching them. That is when they move. Machiavelli saw this in courts across Italy. The most dangerous figure was always the most charming one. The one who smiled most was often the one who took most. What you can do today: stop confusing likability with safety. Watch what people do across time, not what they say in moments. Anyone can perform goodness for an afternoon. Very few sustain it for a year. The long game reveals a real player. You are allowed to be warm. You are not required to be blind. Warmth is a human quality. Wariness is survival quality. Keep both. Lesson 3. The economy of favors. Everything in the social world is an exchange. The person who pretends otherwise is controlling the exchange. You have given, and the account never seemed to balance. Because those people never intended it to balance. They needed the imbalance. The imbalance is a relationship. You being owed keeps you obligated and returning. Machiavelli was clear. Do not make yourself indispensable to someone who has decided you are disposable. They will take your indispensability and then make you feel lucky to still be there. Here is the psychology. People do not value what comes without cost. Freely given is barely seen. Earned with effort is treasured. Your availability is costing you respect. Your scarcity would earn it. What you can do today: audit your giving. Ask yourself, who takes from you without returning? Who drains without filling? You are not a vending machine. Start requiring the return. Some people will leave. Let them. They were only there for the access. The ones who stay when you cost something, they are your people. Lesson 4. The danger of moral signaling. Publicly declaring your principles is the fastest way to have them used against you. Tell someone you always keep your word. Now they know how to manipulate you, make you give your word. Tell someone you never abandon people. Now they know how to keep you trapped. Frame leaving as abandonment. Machiavelli saw princes destroyed by their own announced virtues. The prince who said, "I am always merciful," was always tested for mercy until it broke him. The psychology here is simple. Declared limits invite testing. Undeclared limits are enforced by action. Action is unchallengeable. What you can do today: stop explaining your ethics in advance. Let them discover your values by running into your actions, not by reading your manifesto. The person who knows your ethics owns a lever. The person who guesses owns only uncertainty. Be the mystery in the room, not the open book. Mystery is power. Predictability is vulnerability. Drop this in the comments. I am the map they cannot read. Give them just enough to respect you, never enough to predict you. Lesson 5. The fortress of the self. Your need for approval is an open gate in your fortress. Anyone who knows about it can walk through. You have been in situations where someone withheld their approval, and you worked yourself to exhaustion trying to earn it. They were not withholding approval because you hadn't earned it. They were withholding it because it worked. They were training you, and you didn't know you were being trained. Machiavelli's warning: a prince who needs others to feel legitimate is not a prince. Legitimacy that comes from inside cannot be taken. Legitimacy from outside is rented. What you can do today: identify where you are renting your self-worth. From a title, from a relationship, from a number, from their opinion of you. Every cord you cut is a gate you close. Every gate closed is power returned to you. This does not mean becoming cold. It means becoming complete. The complete person does not need validation, and that terrifies the people who used to control them. Drop this in the comments. I am the destination, not the pursuit. You do not chase. You build. And what you build, people come to. The person who needs nothing is immune to the most powerful weapon used against you. Lesson 6. The timing of power. Most people act from emotion. The powerful act from timing. Reacting immediately to every provocation is a mark of someone who can be reliably controlled. They provoke you to see where your edges are. Reacting tells them everything. The calm figure in the room always has more power than the reactive one, because calm is a signal. It says, "I have seen this before. I am not threatened." Machiavelli wrote about the role of timing in political coups. Success was never about force. It was about the right moment. Acting too early is as fatal as acting too late. The window matters. What you can do today: practice the pause. Before you respond in any high-stakes situation, breathe. Count. Observe what the other person does with your silence. Silence makes people reveal themselves. Use it as a diagnostic. The person who cannot wait loses. Every time. You have been rushing your own power. Slowing down is not weakness. It is strategy. Rivers carve canyons, not by force, by patience. Time is on your side when you stop fighting it. Lesson 7. The alliance that destroys you. Not every alliance is formed to lift both parties. Some are formed to use one. You have entered partnerships where the energy, ideas, and risk were yours, and the reward went elsewhere. You believed in the shared vision. They believed in the shared labor. Yours. Machiavelli warned, the powerful use allies the way weapons are used, until they are no longer needed. The psychology here: people will believe in the alliance as long as they need it. The moment your value to them decreases, notice what also decreases: their calls, their energy, their time, their loyalty. What you can do today: evaluate every alliance by what it costs you without the story around it. Remove the history. Remove the feelings. Look only at the pattern. Does this alliance serve your future, or does it serve theirs at your expense? If you cannot honestly answer that, it is already answering itself. Choose alliances that sharpen you, not ones that need your softness to survive. The right people do not need you to be less. They challenge you to become more. That is Machiavelli's alliance. That is where you spend your loyalty. Lesson 8. The necessity of control fear. This is the most misunderstood lesson Machiavelli ever taught. He was not saying, be cool. He was saying, be consequential. You have been in situations where you said that is not okay, and nothing happened. Again and again, until you stopped saying it altogether. Because saying it without consequence only trained them that there was none. A boundary with no consequence is just a preference announcement. The psychology is this: humans respect where there is consequence. They exploit where there is not. What you can do today: say less, do more. When you say you will do something, do it. The first time. Without drama. The first time is everything. They are watching to see if you mean it. You do not get a second chance to establish your first precedent. You do not need to be feared by everyone. You need to be believed by everyone. Believed means no one will test you unnecessarily, because they already know the answer. That is power without performance. That is Machiavelli's endgame. Now listen closely, because this next part is where everything changes. Let's review what you now carry. You no longer announce your moves. You move. You no longer perform virtue. You hold it privately and act from it without explanation. You have audited your giving and stopped the drain. You have become the mystery instead of the manifesto. You are closing the gates in your fortress. You have learned to pause, to time, to let silence do the work. You have examined your alliances with clear eyes, and you have made consequence real by making your word unbreakable. You are not the same person who started this video. Something has shifted. Let's name it. Drop this in the comments. The pattern is visible now. You can see the mechanism now. The trap, the architecture, all of it. And once you can see the mechanism, you can never be caught in it the same way again. That is the beginning, not the end. The beginning. I need you to hear this next part with everything you have, because this is a part they never show you in any self-help book. They will tell you to be kind, to be patient, to be understanding. Nobody tells you what to do when kind is weaponized, when patience is exploited, when understanding is mined. Because the people writing those books are not the ones being eaten alive in those rooms. You have been in those rooms. You know what it actually feels like. You know the specific exhaustion of trying to be fair in a room that has no fairness in it. The old you is dead. The version of you that apologized for taking up space. Gone. The version of you that explained yourself to people who had already decided. Gone. The version of you that made yourself small so others would be comfortable. Buried. You are a weapon. Pointed at your own future, not pointed at their approval, not at their validation, not at their comfort, pointed at your own vision, your own standard, your own becoming. You belong to no one, not to their narratives, not to their systems, not to their version of who you should be. You belong to your vision, to your work, to your becoming. That is what Machiavelli was really pointing toward. Not domination, completion, not the destruction of others. The construction of yourself, not the extraction of power from the weak, the reclamation of power from those who stole it. You came here with less than you deserved. You leave here with more than they planned. That is not revenge. That is what happens when someone finally learns the rules of the real game. You are in the real game now, and you know how it works. Machiavelli did not give you a license to harm. He gave you a lens to see, and what you see now, you cannot unsee. Welcome to clarity. Welcome to the real. Now, there's one more thing. You just chose to see what most people run from. That is not nothing. That is rare. If this channel is where you come to think differently about power, about people, about yourself, subscribe. Not because I'm asking, because it belongs in your arsenal. Hit the notification bell, because the next piece of knowledge you're missing might be the one that changes everything. Share this with exactly one person who needs to hear it. You'll know who. And leave your answer to this in the comments. What is the one situation in your life right now where you have been playing fair, and the other person has not been? Tell me, and let's look at it together.
Don't just watch, be part of it. Subscribe now and turn on the bell icon, because the next video might change the way you think.